Hello, so this is partly a response video to one of my own videos, and also, since it's the beginning of the year, a general sort of indication of what direction I intend to take my channel in terms of, let's say, control of the channel, in terms of kind of regulation, that sort of thing. Okay, so I made a video a while back that was pretty contentious. In the video, it was entitled "Journalist Eva Bartlett is Not Independent." Now that attracted quite a lot of views, more than I expected. I think it's currently about 450. It got a lot of comments, well, more than usual, and they were all negative. That's not very surprising. I knew it would be a contentious video, but I reluctantly decided to close the comment section because I gritted my teeth and looked at the comments. I knew they would be negative, and I also knew there was a strong chance they'd be personally abusive. So I gritted my teeth, had a look, and indeed that was the case. Um, with one or two exceptions, every single comment was a personal attack against himself. Now, I'm a big boy, I can take it, but I shouldn't have to take it, and that's the issue. Okay, so I'm not crying about it, but the point is, if I keep that comment section open, it's just going to give these people an opportunity to continue hurling abuse at me. Because every time I respond to them, to counter the points that they're making, then it's just going to be a never-ending sort of mudslinging contest in which I'm going up against a group of people. Fuck that. I'm not going to put up with that. So there's a few individuals I just want to name that have been kind of you know hurling insults at myself. Hoy boy, Doug, who asked if I was a clown. No, I'm not a clown. Lynn Smith, if that is indeed her real name, got into a lengthy essay about how Russia and Assad are right in the whole Syrian war, and honey, how I need to educate you. This really patronizing thing that some women do that thinks they think it makes them smart. It doesn't. It just makes you a condescending bitch. So Dr. Handemir and Cora Telpro Killer, whatever that means. Okay, those are just some examples. Here's the thing, when I make videos about contentious subjects, I do expect that there will be different points of view. And my track record speaks for itself, right? The vast majority of my videos, I allow the comment section to be open. Now, if these people were just criticizing the volume issue, then fair enough, because I looked at the video and the volume was pretty bad. I admit that. It was bad volume. I've explained that there is a problem with my computer at the moment. There's not much I can do about that. And, that's unfortunate. But obviously they could hear enough in order to refute what I was saying from their point of view. Now, about what I was saying, I'll just touch on this briefly. Basically, what the video was about was that I was challenging the narrative that this Canadian journalist, she's a Canadian national, Eva Bartlett, is making about the war in Syria. She has basically claimed that the White Helmet group are terrorists in disguise, and that Assad is a good guy and he's just protecting his country from terrorists. And she doesn't directly work for RT, but the point is she has contributed to RT. Okay? Now, I just don't understand how these people could get so worked up by the fact that I'm challenging her narrative. That indicates to me that they are defending her not because they think I'm being unfair, but because they want to believe what she is saying. Okay? Um, I mean, to me, that's striking. These are the very people who go on and on about mainstream media, and yet they're attacking me. I'm not important. I'm just a private individual making a video. I'm not important. I'm not mainstream media. But they feel it necessary to vitriolically attack me because they don't like an alternative point of view. And they're doing it in defense of a journalist who supposedly is independent, but she's actually representing the narrative of Putin and Assad. Can anyone dispute this? Can anyone dispute that that is what she is doing? Let's forget whether it's true or not for a second. Let's just focus on that. She is putting forward the narrative of Putin and Assad. Now, one of the people who commented said, well, I'm just putting forward the narrative of the Western media. No, I'm not. In the video, I clearly said, or if I haven't said it in that video, I've certainly said it in other videos, that I am not happy with our ties to Saudi Arabia. And I did not claim that the West position is perfect. This is what pisses me off about RT zealots. Their mind is so single track minded, they think they're so smart by watching RT, but they're not. They're just useful idiots. They believe everything Russia Today tells them, and they say, oh, but I'm enlightened. I don't listen to the mainstream Western media. No, but you listen to mainstream Russian media. What's the difference? And what pisses me off is they're so arrogant. They just think they're so enlightened. And what do they have to go on that? I mean, I also want to challenge another argument that a few of them made. They said, who are you? You're not in Syria. Well, I never claimed I was in Syria. I never claimed that I was a journalist. Okay? I'm a private individual, as most of you are, I suspect. I'm not pretending anything else. But I am allowed an opinion. Um, and being in Syria, I made this point in the video, and if you couldn't hear it in the video, you'll damn well hear it now. Being in Syria is frankly irrelevant because you can go to a country, and if you already have a preconceived notion of whose side you're on, of course you're going to report from that narrative. Being in Syria is totally irrelevant. It's a civil war. There's lots of opinions going around. It's a brutal civil war. So being in Syria is not the most important aspect. The most important aspect is what agenda people have. I know she's been to Syria. But so have many other journalists who are not pushing the Assad Russia propaganda. So why are they not making the same argument for those journalists? That's just a dead end argument as far as I'm concerned. It's a bit like those people who went on holiday to Cuba and said, "Oh, but Castro was a great guy." Being in a place doesn't mean you know everything about it. So sure, Bartlett's got a lot more experience than me. I'm not disputing that. She's been to a war zone. I haven't. She's probably on personal level quite courageous, and so I'll give her that. But it does not mean that she is not pushing an agenda. She so blatantly is. It's just fucking stupid to suggest that when you're in an armed conflict, if you explicitly support one side, by definition you're not independent. These idiots need to look up what the word independent actually means, because obviously you don't. And Hoy Boy, Doug, Lynn Smith, Dr. Handemir, and Coral Tail Pro Killer. Fuck you, okay? I'm making a video which is more than what I see you people doing. I don't pretend I'm something I'm not. I'm not saying I'm a journalist. I'm not saying I know everything. But I insist that the media must be up for scrutiny. That includes so-called independent journalists like Eva Bartlett. Channel 4 ran an article on this, but actually it was quite revealing. What they said was, put it this way, Eva Bartlett has claimed that little girls caught up in bombing are all the same girl. Now, she's proven to have lied about that, because it was not the same little girl. Granted, she looks similar, but closer inspection, she was actually a different little girl. Now, Eva Bartlett was pushing the die that because, in her opinion, they were the same girl, then that proves that the white helmets are, closet terrorists. Let's say, for the sake of argument, the white helmets are a bit more than what they claim to be. There's many, many, many other sources that have testified to Assad's war crimes. And I just think it is sick and perverse that there are people out there who are pushing the narrative of a brutal dictator that any Syrian who opposes Assad is a terrorist. This is perverse. And what pisses me off is if you question Assad, then you're presented as being pro-terrorist. I think I've been pretty colourful in my views about Islamist terrorists. ISIS, the Al-Nusra Front, and every other Islamist thug can go to hell. They are largely responsible for the mess that Syria is in. But I've got news for you. So is Assad. And frankly, if you idiots can only think with one single track mind, oh, Russia and Assad is right, the West is wrong, then you're fucking stupid. You can attack me, right? You can attack me, say I'm an idiot, say I don't know what I'm talking about, whatever. But this isn't about me, okay? This isn't about me. This isn't about my channel. This is about the wider issue that is going on here. And I am adamant that there is a lot of people out there who do blindly believe everything they see in Russia today because they think it's standing up to the mainstream media. But what the hell is the mainstream media? Can someone actually define what mainstream media is? If you're going to say Western media, I put the point to you that Russia today is mainstream Russian media. And by the way, Voice of America isn't allowed to operate in Russia. RT can freely operate in the United States. And, if these people were Russian nationals, then I would think, okay, well, that's Russian nationalism coming into play. But what I find astonishing is a lot of Putin cheerleaders are American citizens, British citizens. And that to me is bizarre that they are going out of their way to defend an authoritarian leader who presides over a country with a very shady record on freedom of the press. And there's a lot of them. Okay, if this was just a few individuals, I wouldn't be bothered. But the reason it does work me up is that there is a lot of them. And anyway, that's why I have reluctantly decided to block comments on the video. It's not because I can't take a different point of view. There was a few comments there that were a bit more civil. And if that was the bulk of comments, I would allow them. But the fact of the matter is about 70% of those comments, and those were even the ones that went past the spam filter. So goodness knows what the others are saying. Um, I'm not going to put up with that crap. I'm not going to be abused on my own channel. Well, why should I be? Why should I tolerate that? This is my channel, and it's my right to block comments if I so choose. Um, I'm not going to keep the comment section open just to show that I tolerate free speech. With free speech comes responsibility, and if you're going to attack someone, don't expect them to give you a voice. If you're going to attack someone on a personal basis, don't expect to give them that person to give you a voice. I'm not going to. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there's no getting through to people like this. They watch Russia Today, and they just believe everything they hear because it suits their. People are accusing me of listening to the Western narrative because it suits me. But the point is that this isn't just from CNN and BBC and Fox. I've looked at genuinely independent sources based in Syria that have documented the crimes committed by the Assad regime. Anyone who believes that the Syria war is about, just all these terrorists trying to take out Assad, they're deluded. The Syria war began in late 2010. I can't even believe I'm going over all this crap again because it's obvious. Anyone who's been paying attention from the start, and by the way, I have access to numerous networks. So it's not a case of, oh, well, I only watch RT, or I only watch the BBC, or I only watch CNN. I've got all sorts of networks, and I watch all of them to get a kind of collective insight. I think all networks are biased. I certainly can't be accused of being a CNN supporter. I've been very vocal in their reporting of the American election, for instance. I just think that, this sort of thing is not surprising, really. Because the thing about Putin and Assad fanatics, and I call them fanatics on the grounds that they have a single track mind. They're fanatical in terms of the world outlook because it's black and white. Everything Russia does is good, everything the West does is bad. That's how they view things. And it's bullshit. And anyway, that is going to be the general approach. I will continue making contentious videos. I'm a private individual. I don't pretend to be anything that I'm not. Um, I'm just commenting about these things the way thousands of other YouTubers do. If I was a professional journalist, I'd probably spend a lot more time, producing evidence and all the rest of it. But I'm a private individual and I'm simply voicing my opinion. And these people are hypocrites because they're attacking me for voicing my opinion. And yet I've noticed none of them have uploaded videos. So in other words, they're happy to attack someone, for all I know, because of those dubious usernames, for all I know, they work for the FSB. I don't know. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. It is known that Russia employs people online to do this. as do other authoritarian governments. And I just think it's sad that there is so many people who want to view the world in such a black and white way. I don't do that. And I'm proud of myself for not doing that. I don't pretend I know everything, but I do not view the world as black and white. And that's it, really. That's all I have to say about the matter. I'm going to do this, by the way. If there is situations where I make contentious videos, I'll keep the comment section open initially, but I'm not going to tolerate personal abuse because I shouldn't have to. And it isn't just about that. It isn't just about that it's unpleasant to see. You know, I'm a big boy, I can take it. It's about the fact that when I do see it, then I feel compelled to reply to the comments. And then they reply, and then I reply back. And it's never ending. So actually, it's about time management as much as anything. And if you think I'm being intolerant or something, you know, I've got over 2,000 videos. Hand on heart, over 90% I keep the comments open. But when I'm putting up with hardline nationalists or zealots who want to think the world is black and white and they're only interested in calling me names, fuck that. I'm not going to put up with it. So, Lynn Smith, maybe you're too much of a card to upload your own videos. Doug, maybe all you can do is call people clowns if they have a view that's different from your own. And a final point, the fact that I'm not in Syria doesn't change opinion because there's many people in Syria who would agree with what I'm saying. So it's frankly irrelevant. Sure, if I'm in Syria, I'm going to have more experience. But so anyway, about the video itself, the final point, she's not independent. You cannot back one side of a conflict and say that you're independent. It just goes against the definition of independence. If Eva Bartlett was truly independent, she would be reporting on the crimes of both sides. You know, so yes, she would be reporting on the crimes of the rebels. She would also be reporting on when the Assad regime deliberately strikes civilian areas. Incidentally, it's the Assad regime that has broken the latest ceasefire because they bombed rebel areas after the ceasefire was announced. One of the biggest tragedies of the Syria war, I've said this before and I'll say it again, is that the Assad regime has been exonerated. Um, Anyway, I'll leave it there. I've spent too much time on this as it is, but that is going to be the approach that I take from now on. I will leave comments open. Um, I do apologise for the volume, but that wasn't the issue they were mainly raising, and I think that's improved. So yeah, I'll leave comment section open, but if I kind of look at the comments and they're all negative and there's like 10 thumbs down, I know it's going to be personal abuse, and I'm under no obligation to give people a platform that use me personally. Go and fuck yourselves. Make your own videos. Go and watch RT like good little sheep. Go and praise Putin in some forum and be non-caring. That's it. That's the approach that I'm taking. And I stand by everything I said in the video.